Hey everybody, welcome back to Timeless Steel Garage. Jimmy, back with you. Anyhow, I'm gonna continue work on the Ecoboost DeLorean, and I don't really have any agenda for this video. I'm just gonna bring you guys along for the ride, so to speak. But this is the new, let me back up so you can see it, drift brake that I'm putting in the car. And you know, the parking brake, the actual stock parking brake mount is engineered perfectly to fit in a very awkward spot. The way the car's fiberglass tub is, it's just, you can't just simply bolt something there. There's some hollow crevices and different awkward angles and all that kind of stuff. So this thing actually works great. All I had to do was drill 3 holes and this thing lines up perfectly on it like it was made for it. But there is some room for improvement. This is only like 16 gauge, and that brake as I pull up is going to put a lot of force on this bracket. So I'm gonna grind off these factory nuts here that I'm not going to be using anymore, and then I'm going to put a piece of 1/8 inch plate in here, some flat stock I got laying around, and also put some plate on the back, which will just give this whole structure a little bit more strength for when I'm pulling that brake up. It doesn't want to flex this bracket. And then I'll leave the rest of it the same. And then I've got, you know, just 3 bolts to bolt it up. I got brake lines coming and I'll put it in the car. So I'll keep you updated. Well, folks, that was a pain in the butt. I couldn't get this metal bracket clean enough to TIG no matter how hard I tried, but I'm trying to improve my TIG skills, and a challenge is a challenge, right? So making mistakes, still learning, but it turned out okay. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's strong. And the outside of the bracket looks stock from the top down, really, but I added a 1/8 inch steel spine basically, and also an 1/8 inch strap on the back to tie it together to the floor. So now when this thing is getting torqued on this way, I mean, you could feel it now. The bracket doesn't flex anymore, so it's plenty strong for the application I'm going to use. And then once the side bolts and the bottom bolts are tied into the car, and then I've got 3 stainless bolts that are going to hold the drift brake itself to this 1/8 inch backer. That's going to be plenty strong. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some paint on this thing and cook her up in the toaster oven, and I'll be back. You know, the wife's always telling me I can't cook anything, but I beg to differ. With some VHT caliper paint, I got our bracket sprayed up here. I'm gonna put it in there for about an hour, you know, cook the taste, and about 200 degrees, and should be ready for install. This stuff, my buddy Rich got me on it. Everything VHT sells is good. Even DuPont's coming out with some decent stuff now, but I like that VHT paint. So next step here, we are going to remove the DeLorean seat, which takes about 5 minutes. Alright, well now here you can see the parking brake cable. We're not using that anymore. Under here, move these little guys out of the way. When you lift the carpet up, you can see the odd shape that I was talking about. So that parking brake bracket mounts here, here, and here. And then it also screws into the side of the rockers right there. All right, well, while we're waiting for paint to dry, literally, I thought I would show you guys something I'm pretty excited about. This is my custom rear brake setup that only exists on my car. I'm going to show it to you guys as a proof of concept. It's not done. I just had a tire on here to prove to you guys that it clears. And there she be. The only thing left to do here is to make an adapter for the back of the caliper to mount to the stock hub. Now there's a whole lot of custom going on here. These rotors, this rotor and hat's 2-piece Willwood unit. It's been custom machined. I've got some hub-centric rings in there. I've got some aftermarket longer studs on here. Again, this is all custom. Nobody makes this setup for the car. And you could see the dirt track style caliper mount that I'm gonna adapt to the hub. There's some other wizardry going on here with some flipped hardware and a lot of little things just to make that 15-inch wheel fit, but it fits and it's gonna work, and it's completely rebuildable. You need new rotors, you take this off, you take the hardware out the back of the disc, put a new disc on it. The pads on the back are going to be the exact same as the pads on the front of the car. All same calipers. These Willwood units are awesome. They're 4-piston and they have bleeders on both sides, so the calipers are pretty much universal. But yeah, this thing is going to have bigger discs, much bigger discs all the way around on 4 corners. But this is the only setup. This is the only prototype. It's on my personal car, and I do intend on building these for people. But like everything else that you guys have inquired about, my front control arms and stuff like that, I'm not going to do that until I've got thorough test miles on this car. So, but I know a lot of you have been asking, and I'm pretty excited about this. Like that, it's going to significantly improve the way this car drives. Riser done. Oh yeah. That's factory new right there. Well, there it is, folks. Sikky hydraulic drift brake mounted to a DeLorean factory parking brake bracket that has been modified and reinforced. Now we're going to go ahead and install this puppy in here. Let me grab my hardwares. Look at that bad boy, man. This thing is going to be sick. Gotta kind of tuck the old carpet in here. There she be, there she be, there she be, there she be, matey. A little bit of carpet trimming here. Little snippy. Now the original parking brake used a carpet trim cover that went over the top of the parking brake to hide the bracket and make the parking brake look better. But this Sikky unit, well, it looks pretty sick, so I'm not wanting to hide it. I wanted it to be out there, be free. I think I'm going to trimming of the carpet here. Don't need that no more. Perfecto is going to be sick. All right, folks, we got her bolted in the car, and look at that. Look at that. Doesn't stick up near as high as the factory unit did, and I've got it zeroed out with the door sill here. I use my little digital gauge finder guy 9000 here and set her up. And we got all the hardware installed. You can see on the bottom of the car, she's not going anywhere. And look at that, dude. Boom. There she be. All right, let's get this bad girl on. On the floor. All right. Fits pretty darn good in there. Just as snug as the factory parking brake. Obviously this takes commitment because you're going to have exposed brake line cables here that are I'm going to use the existing parking brake hole that was in the back of the car, and I'm just going to tie into the rear distribution block on the back of the frame. And basically the brake fluid's going to go to the back of the car like normal. Once it gets to that rear block on the back Y of the frame, it's going to come in here. This line's going to go back out and go to direct to the brake calipers, and when I push the brake in the car, it's just going to travel through this master cylinder to the back brakes and work. And then when I just want to lock up the rear brakes, just going to go like this. Skeet, 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 skeet. All right, I'm in the car now, and you can see it fits pretty snug in there, but it clears. It's actually almost like it's designed for this thing, really. And you can't really see the top of the bracket. And this bar is low enough that it no longer catches my leg when I get in the car. It's pretty sweet. I mean, whew, it's in a pretty good spot. I mean, I angled it out just a hair so that I can get my hand between the rocker and the grip on the thing as quick as possible without smashing my hand in there. But I tell you what, folks, if you've ever had like a eBay special type thing, this is not that. This thing is precision machine. There's no flex in this at all. It is. And then the master cylinder alignment they have is perfect. I mean, you don't feel any restriction on that. I tell you, if you're in the market for a hydraulic brake, Sikky, get you one. Well, you thought we were done, but we're not done for today. So I got this badass 70s 911 Porsche, real Porsche ISO Delta wheel. I gave my original wheel away to one of my best friends, Matt. He had the balls to help me drive my DeLorean on its very first ever drive, 800 miles. So I thought that was a cool birthday present for him. But now I needed a steering wheel. And of course I ordered this adapter and it doesn't fit worth a damn. And the steering wheel doesn't fit on it. So proving once again, if you want something done, just do it yourself. So I'm going to drill manually and tap manually all the holes the way they should be and install this wheel in the car. Alright, well, if you've never drilled and tapped something before, it's really pretty simple. The bolts on this are M5 by 0.8. Now I don't have the correct drill bit for that, so I just aired a little bit smaller since the material is aluminum. I went with a 5/32 drill bit. And I found some Subaru oil laying around and put that in a paint cup, and it's really simple. Just dip your tip in the oil, get it started, and you will let it eat, back it off. 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 And if it starts to get where you're feeling it not even, back it all the way out, because you probably got a lot of material on there. Clean it off with a rag. Put some fresh oil on her. Go back to town. And then whatever size your bolt is, you want to drill, like in this particular case, these bolts, these are really, whoop, well, that bolt's important, I probably shouldn't lose it. These are really short, so I just taped my drill bit, and you want to go at least half length past. I just doubled, put some masking tape on the bit there, so I'm drilling them all consistently, and you're letting the tap do all the work. You're not forcing it in, it's just a little bit at a time, because you only got one opportunity to do this right. And if you rip the threads out of it, then you got to drill and go bigger. So take your time. I have, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more of these to go. So I got the 12 and 6 bolt perfectly lined up and tapped, and the bolts in, right? Using a punch, since it's an aluminum adapter, it's super easy to work with, to go around. Now that you got your wheel locked down where it's going to be, drop a tap hole, punch into each hole, and drill and tap, and I'll be done with this in about 10 minutes. Well, there she is. It took me way longer than 10 minutes. It's definitely not an accurate timeline, but man, that is a cool wheel. Thick, it's real, it's not cheap aftermarket. I think genuine Porsche 911 wheel will fit this car's character. Alright, now all we gotta do now is put the old washer and nut on. Where did I do with those? Those are important. Yeah. Alright. Don't want that coming off in flight. Look at that. Honk, honk. Yeah, the DeLorean's horn over here, by the way. Well. That the Porsche wheel was a good homage to the Porsche transmission. And I also think it just fits the DeLorean interior. I never really liked the DeLorean wheel. I think it looks cheap. And here we are. Skeet, skeet. Gonna have our aim dash right there. I might mess around with that, move it. But all right, well, there it is, final product. I wiped down the seat, it was looking real dry. Put a little lotion on the steering wheel. You know, it's not brand new, and it looks like it came in the car. It's kind of the same age as the rest of the interior, which is what I thought was cool. I gotta look up the year. It was either a 78 or an 81 911, I can't remember, but it's a genuine ISO Delta wheel, and it's a real Porsche cap. And I don't know, I thought that was a cool homage to the transmission there. So that's all today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Peace.